Appreciate it, Zoe. That's right. I'm Dor. I'm joined by my third favorite Mafia, Don Hurix, over here on my right side, and we're ready to get into the game. We've got two teams on the brink of death, and only one of them gets to sip from the chalice of vitality that is, well, one win at the cost of the other Hurix. It's going to be expensive.
Oh yeah, big time. It's gonna pay dividends though for the team that comes out on top. Obviously, you know, a team like San Francisco Shock, they're in the hot seat right now. Everybody expected, you know, some pretty decent things from this roster. We haven't gotten that just yet, but I expect things to turn around here as we're gonna get geared up, ready to go into Antarctica. And Timeless, on the other hand, man, if they could pull out a win and be the second contenders team to really upset the Shock, I mean, that would be a big win. But obviously the big story here, and it's already been discussed and we all know it, the team that loses, they're just not going to see the playoff bracket at all. So obviously a lot in the line for both these teams.
Well, it's a double grudge match. Not only is loser out, but these two have collaborated on multiple things. The Timeless Calling All Heroes roster was paired up with San Francisco Shock. They did that together. They've done content pieces together in the past. That's something Timeless has done a ton. I mean, they're a model
you're saying. Okay.
They're a model contenders team for that reason. Done stuff with Vancouver Titans, but the main thing, right, was when they worked with the Shock, they made it a whole thing. Like, these two know each other very closely. It is not just a grudge match for staying in the tournament. It means something between these two organizations.
Yeah, of course. As you know, brought up on the desk as well, we do see Max in the lineup here, and against this Timeless squad that we obviously expected coming into the qualifiers. Obviously this was, you know, a month ago or so now. Feels like ages, but we kind of anticipated that Timeless would be one of those dive teams. I mean, that has been Kuffa's history, but Kuffa has shown some versatility, especially when we saw him last year in the Junker Queen role. Incredibly strong in the brawl, and has now shifted over to the Ramatra, and it seems like a lot of that skill is still there, but now Shock are looking to match that here, and they have obviously a lot of firepower in these individual players. Let's see what they can do.
Kuffa's got his work cut out for him. The Korean contenders upstart in Max on the other side, low on HP, now down to 0, doomed. This is one to get a final blow on him. Now high ground belongs to Timeless. Can they leverage it into a fight win is the big question.
Big neutral advantage. I mean, no Ramatra means nobody to really contest that objective. You can't step up, you can't take space, you certainly can't hold the space that you have, and you can see, of course, Shock relinquishing their control of what they owned. Now, an opportunity, though, to get back here as Timeless, holding out on this high ground, but Shock, I mean, they need to get into a position on this backside with their Hanzo and their Ana to be able to actually support that team that's pushing in and trying to take away from Timeless.
I mean, it is so difficult to push in here. Max is doing everything in his power, but it's costing him a health bar. Every cooldown on the planet. Luckily, a sleep dart is put onto Kuffa to at least quell the pressure that's being put onto the front line here for Shock, but they've made no progress.
Yeah, I mean, Timeless are kind of exposing Shock and abusing sight lines completely. However, with Shock getting control of the objective, things are looking okay for them. They can actually fall back, play this defensively, and now look to pivot and take control.
There it is, Neptune Cal down, supports fall. It's another sleep from Finn that did it. Kuffa spent more time on the ground than he has fighting Max.
Yeah, Kuffa's definitely been, you know, have a tough time of it, but that's kind of what Shock is capable of. This is, you know, as Custom mentioned, we're looking for those glimpses. This is kind of what we're looking to see from a Shock team that obviously held in high regard with the talent that they had. Pulse Button gonna miss there. Timeless going to be able to elude that for the time being, but of course, they still have to find these little pincers here, and they're going in for these flanks, and it's just not finding as much value as they really need to be able to get a good, strong opening in these fights.
This is a pretty decent opening. Annihilation pop for both sides. Kuffa, though, on the front foot. Max better HP. Finn's so safe down in that back line, but Vindame isn't. Kuffa falls, and this means Shock should just, be able to topple over the rest of his roster with ease.
Yeah, this sound barrier out too, but Shock, I mean, they don't even need it at this stage. You see Timeless, they lost Neptune, so same story there, and because of that, Shock, they're going to be able to take control of this fight. But, I mean, had Neptune not fallen there, because of the timing on that Vindime death, that really could have been incredibly damaging for Shock at a time where now, at about 90% here, obviously 1-for-1 in the sound barriers, Shock, they're in a commanding position here.
They're set up to take a win. Again, it's all about execution. If there's a team that you expect to be up to that standard, though, it is this roster, steeped in pedigree. All they need is the opportunity to prove themselves, and they're looking for it. The Dragon's out, sound barrier popped by Timeless first. Shock get the second sound barrier. This should almost certainly be a winning beat here from Vindame. Pops it, forward goes Shock, and down goes Wub. A steamroll over the underground portion here on Antarctica, and Timeless have got to lick their wounds and try and take it back in a second.
I love the way that Shock did that too. They forced Timeless to go early, and then they were so patient about that shift at timing. And of course, the big thing here was the way that we saw Shock pulling out the ultimate from Cal as well, the nano boost onto Kuffa. As soon as we saw that, well, Shock just leave the fight completely, and they go ahead and they kite. And I mean, it worked out beautifully for them as we see the replay of exactly how this went down. And you can see he's saying on the flank. I mean, Wub didn't even see him.
Yeah, no chance at that point. The picks are so powerful in positions like that. That being said, that map tends to be pretty hard to flip, so things open up a lot, and the texture of the game is going to change a fair bit heading in.
Oh yeah, Icebreaker, different type of map, same compositions though. For the most part, Wub, though, going to be on the Cassidy. Obviously, going to be trying to put a little bit more pressure onto Proper here, a little bit more pressure, maybe even onto Max. We'll see what Wub wants to actually target, as he's saying, once again, owning this side lane and just doing what he can to provide that consistent threat.
It's that minor off angle, but you can see both the Ramatras are playing within an inch of their life right about now. Cal and Finn's jobs could not be harder, but it's Finn's who's made it impossible. Without the Ana, I mean, Max is almost certainly going down here. He's getting taken to right-click City by Wub. No, you know what? Alternate fire not even needed to finish off the Ramatra. Shock, taken down Timeless, first tick.
The thing that I got to give some respect over to Timeless for is that they're doing so well in these neutrals. They're playing them really, really well. They're finding those opportunities. Doomed is pulling attention away from Shock, and that's against a team that has Proper in the lineup. So obviously with Proper, Vindime also trying to mark Doomed as he goes in and trying to pull that recall early. Timeless winning the neutral fight, that is a huge, huge win for them. A boon in their favor right now, down a round.
The defending team on Antarctica is at a significant advantage in a lot of these fights. Kuffa walking forward. He's really trying not to get slipped here. Speeds passed onto the Hanzo. The pummels just aren't hitting. There it is. Finally takes down Heatsink, but it gives Vindame time to pick off Doomed. He's given up the Hanzo. San Francisco Shock say, screw Heatsink. We don't need him. You can have him. And run it Timeless his backline while Kuffa's busy with the Hanzo.
Seems like every time Shock get these ultimates, they just are so good about getting value out of them and being efficient with the resources that they have. You do see a little bit of investment here, but we obviously, I mean, this is a match, right? So it works out for Shock, where we see Max just stabilizing with the Annihilation, but they get the turn. Kuffa already pulled his, so Shock, despite being down, I mean, over 30% as I'm saying this, they're still in a pretty good position. They're still 1-1 Vindime to Neptune at about 87-88%. And they do have that split potential with Dragon Strike. I mean, Dragon Strike is a much better ult than I think a lot of people give it credit for, especially here on Icebreaker.
Yeah, in the rush matchup. Can be powerful. Not if Vindame goes down, though. I mean, that's a beat advantage for Timeless. They should just be able to win this outright. They don't even need the beat right now. Maybe they should think about using it, though. Oh, and Neptune doesn't pull the trigger early enough. Shock have fought back. The star DPS line of this team just can do no wrong. Proper's looking for one more to finish things off. They'll cap the point back in their favor and take an advantage in percentage.
Once again, I mean, they kind of maintain that great spot they're in, because even going 1-for-1 on Sound Barrier like they're going to have for this next fight, of course, provided neither of these Lucios die first before the fight even breaks out, which has happened already in this series a few times, Shock should be in a great position to try to stabilize long-term and kite away from Timeless. Even if they allow Timeless to get a flip mid-fight, they can always go ahead and turn back around and get that fight going back.
See how the Deadeye works out. Not well for Proper, I'll tell you that much. Neptune with an opener, diving forward onto the front line of Shock. A point flip for Timeless early on in the fight as well. They want to progress further. They want to dive onto this Ana. It's Finn, caught low, finally taken out by Wub, and Timeless's measured aggression is rewarded. It was a risk they needed to take.
And now you see, of course, Kuffa ready with the Annihilation. A little bit off kilter is Max at 64%, so that's a huge advantage that Timeless can have in the brawl going into this next fight here. They're looking to go ahead and recapture the lead that they lost just moments prior. Have to be careful though, because fight timings are everything. If they do lose this next fight with a heavy investment of the 4 ults that they have, you see Shock right now. If they somehow get an efficient win here, it is a death.
Timeless are going for the post bomb. He's got both the supports. Doomed has done it. He's glitched out the map. Timeless need nothing more. They'll throw in everything else because they know the map's over from here. But we're heading on to a third map. We're heading on to Icebreaker. And this is far from over for the team that's come up from contenders.
Oh man, Doomed Godoa, the man himself, he's done it. What a pulse bomb. Not even just getting the value off of that solo stick, which would have been enough. I mean, genuinely, that would have been enough. And he winds up getting Finn as well. So realistically, the only shot Shock had was getting some value out of one or both of those support ults, and they both were taken out of the picture. Shock have been so good about giving opportunity, space, time to Heesang, to Proper, to be able to come out with some really clutch kills, fight turners. But without those support players in the mix, it's just not possible. So Timeless buy themselves another opportunity, and now we're actually moving on to Icebreaker. I brought it up before.
It's all right. I wasn't going to correct you. That one's Labs, but yeah, this one's Icebreaker. And the only thing it's breaking is one of these teams' backs, because it's got to break. Under the pressure, with all the lights on them, can Timeless keep up this kind of momentum? Kuffa looking to play aggressive into Max, bringing in the May of Doomed as well, a fairly experienced May player, I might add. Puts even more pressure onto the main tank here for San Francisco Shock. All neutral for now. As they push in, the wall goes in, trying to LOS the heals away from Max. It's not particularly successful in doing so. Oh, and the anti-nade from Finn lands onto the backline. It doesn't matter. Timeless's DPS is just higher. Wub and Doomed are connecting shots to the domes of San Francisco Shock like you wouldn't believe.
Oh man, is that 3 for 3 in the neutral right now for Timeless? I mean, clearly
going, man.
that time that they did spend in contenders going through trials, fighting against teams like Trick Room, who did defeat the Shock earlier in this week. I mean, it seems like that has certainly helped them to a large degree. They look so good in these neutral fights. It's just about making sure that they can continue that pressure. They're going to have those walls still to help them do that.
And Timeless, such a momentum-based team. They can smell blood in the water when they know it's there. San Francisco Shock look weak right now. Max caught anti-naded out, is forced to back away. Timeless apply more pressure due to that. Pulse bomb out, it's got Neptune. He's put behind in the ultimate charge, but it's Proper who pays the price. San Francisco Shock still unable to find their way forward. Timeless keep them at bay. They can't find purchase onto this point right now, Yurks.
Not at all, and here's Timeless at 50%. They're doing a good job of just kind of juggling that pressure between multiple members of the Shock, where we see Proper push forward and then gets caught out. Wub just a great job of just marking him early in that fight. See what they can do here. Wub clearly not playing those flanks that you typically see from a Cassidy, just trying to stabilize around Kuffa, who is asleep right now, but is very close to that annihilation. Should be able to get it before Max, but Max will have the help of the nano boost from Finn, should they choose to go that route and combine those.
I mean, the big thing, I was saying, Neptune's got a sound barrier, dude. Vindame is, his is not here yet. He did not pay for 2-day delivery. That's all I'm saying. Neptune, sound barrier, engagement for Timeless. They play their trump card early on in the fight,
the sleep.
but did they get the follow-up off the sleep? Vindame down. What? He still pops the annihilation. Shock think they can win this one. It's final fight. They have to, but they simply can't. Timeless have rolled them on Icebreaker. They've clapped them so hard you'd think they were trying to turn the lights on in a 90s infomercial. Unless maybe could Proper kill them all. Could Proper possibly kill them all? Could last season's Rookie of the Year MVP possibly kill all of Timeless?
No way. No way. No how. How has he done it? I mean, I shouldn't even be asking. We know it's Proper. We know what he's capable of, but come on.
Dude, that's not reasonable. That's not human.
How do you come back from that? Timeless, you have so much time, but so much resources invested into that last fight, and yet one man alone came through. I believe it was a 4K, the most unreal clutch I've seen. Now the wall comes up. Timeless trying to get control of this point. Something to take note of is Shock needs control if they want any hope of outlasting Timeless in this one.
Oh, Proper's cooking up something different right now. A first pick onto Wub. One more on. He looks away. He knows that May's supposed to be dead after he's taken that much health off of him. Looking for the next target. Oh, it's Cal in his sights. It feels like there's a lot of momentum going either way here right now, Yurks. When Timeless are going, they're going. When Shock are going, they're going. There is no in between.
put a bookmark in that play. We'll be seeing it for years to come. Let's see if Shock can use that momentum to solidify a map win for themselves and get ahead. Or is Timeless going to finish what they started? They're stepping up. It's 62% here for Shock, so maybe 2 opportunities left for Timeless to try to turn things back around.
Thomas with Nano Boost and Deadeye in tow. They've been fight-winning ultimates for them in the past, but Shock have such powerful ones in double support ultimates. Thomas are going to do so. They got to do it early on in the fight. Nano Boost in onto the Cassie. Immediately putting a lot of pressure on Heesang. He's dropped low, zoned out of the fight. He turns around and now take on the tank. It's Max who swapped over to the D.Va, looking to pressure everything out. It's successful in a trade for 1, but remember, those Anas already got their Nano Boosts off. Max able to take down Wub. This fight getting messy now. Annihilation Pop looking to clean everything up. Timeless, can they find a fight win? 95% for Shock. We're at the end of the map. It's all decided here. He just gets the Nemesis form up in time to save himself, but Kuffa will fall nevertheless. Max prevails, and Shock are gonna take themselves a map 1.
How have they done it? They used the momentum behind a 4K hero moment from Proper, and they go 100 straight percentage points. That's 2 minutes straight in full control. They pull off the map win. What a way to come back for Shock. Hopefully, this is a good sign for the rest of the tournament and not just the series for them. But man, Timeless did look pretty good in that one.
You know, they say you never want to be the team that plays the Shock the day after a loss. And I think Timeless are experiencing that right now, because for all the heroics, for what has been really clean play from them execution-wise and decision-making-wise, it just is not mattering in the face of Proper. You look here at the first map, you look at the final map, both decided by key plays from Proper and Heesang. Mostly Proper though, and to be fair, while Proper has put up some strong performances, it hasn't been the insanity that we were seeing last year. This map was the insanity that we were seeing last year.
Oh yeah, big time. And I mean, it's crazy to think too, that play right there with Doom, getting that double pulse bomb that helped them solidify that second round, and then it just got outstaged. A play that was that important got outstaged to where I'm not even sure anybody's gonna remember what Doom did there. I mean, that's how crazy that play was from Proper. Absolutely upstaged, but nonetheless, huge.
Yeah, I feel like that's really the only name to focus on. There were some close ones. I gotta hand it to Finn. Finn was putting Kuffa in timeout more times than not, to say the least. Made his life a lot harder. But yeah, they know. They know there's nothing that needs to be said other than that. Look, they brought 1 player through, and it's all they needed. Proper is the truth.
I mean, I don't even really want to go too far beyond what San Francisco Shock, went ahead and tweeted. So we won't waste any time here. That was 1 map down. Kings Row next. We'll see you soon after this break.
seconds.
San Francisco Shock, Proper!
Proper is a generational talent. He's going to be in this league for a long time.
Look at this guy. He's running down Bernard. Then he just charges the Sigma.
Completely uncontested, tearing through. Coming on!
Gendo tried his best, but it's not gonna be enough. Finn is feeling himself. Look at him.
Shot, but only affects him. Rampage gonna catch on a two-point tail, but Proper is there.
Oh my.
여기 깔고 또!
Welcome back, everybody. This one's just heating up as Shock have taken map number 1 with what I'm hearing was about as close as you can get to a deadlift without it actually being a deadlift on a win from Proper. Obscene scenes from this guy who has just turned it on after Shock start going 0-2. This is what they needed to start the comeback.
Oh yeah, big time. They had to have that there. I mean, 41 total final blows. Of those, 20 came from Proper. We'll see if that continues. However, there is going to be a shift in the roster coming into this second map here. Of course, Shock already up 1-0. Well, guess what? They're going to be bringing Junbin into the mix again. So Max out, Junbin in. Of course, what this means is likelihood of some of that kind of well, Ball Winston probably is going to be in play here. I think maybe a little bit of an exit from the Ramattra to a degree, but we'll have to see because we have seen some success from that compositions, specifically on King's Row, which is going to be map number 2, especially from a team like Timeless. I think this has been somewhat of a comfort pick for them, actually, because of the nature of Ramattra, that tempo style of the rush that we've seen in the past from Reinhardt. Obviously, just a different element, especially when you can bring in the Hanzo that Timeless obviously loves as well.
A huge option for Wub, but what do you do if you're Timeless in the face of what just happened to you? Do you have to shake it off? Like, it seems like a lot of what they're playing, a lot of the comms, a lot of the play itself was just off the back of momentum, right? When they start playing hot, they continue playing hot, but all of that got shut down. They have to rebuild all that momentum now, and they've got very little time to do it. These BO3s, these first to twos go way too quick.
Yeah, I mean, even yesterday we had one with Timeless here on this map. I actually need to throw you under the bus so people don't think it's me. That little like noise towards the end of that Mayhem push, that like slurping, that was you, man. It wasn't me.
You know, I was just feeling the same exact pain that the man tank on the receiving end of it was. That was a double spawn camp. There's just not words to that.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you, yeah, that's fine. All right, well, let's focus in on this one. Let's see if Timeless can maybe turn this one around here, and we'll see what can be done about this. Of course, a little bit of a different look from them. To a degree. Obviously, we are used to seeing a little bit more of Timeless playing the Ramattra as of late, but when we came into qualifiers, this is probably the expectation you would see from them. Cuff on the Winston. When we talk about comfort picks, I mean, there is nothing better for Kuffa specifically, and for this team, they should look good on this dive, but against a team like Shock, it's a lot to prepare for. We'll see what happens.
And that's always a tall order playing against the Shock, but two teams have done it prior, and Wub looks to make it 3. He's saying down.
Another great opening pick from Wub, and doing it as well on the casting. That's huge, but unfortunately with Neptune down now.
They'll trade.
Okay. I mean, that at least stabilizes things here for Timeless. Without Neptune, they would have been in a dire situation. You see actually a swap coming in from Neptune so that he can just taxi himself back to this objective, but they're going to be without the Ana, which is actually a major factor in this comp, especially in those pushes, front-loading. Junbin's going to have a big advantage against Cuffin.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of space for it. Cuffin's looking to claim it back. I actually love this jump up onto the statue. It buys him that space that he's looking for at the cost of his health bar, but he will pop right back up. They haven't had to give that tick away quite yet, and they will now. Shock, lay claim to the first bit of percentage on the point. But can they continue their crusade upon that which Timeless once called home in this A point? Wub on a flank. I love this angle. Look at this. The sticky onto the likes of the back line of the Shock here, but how's he going to get out? He's got 3 players from the Shock looking at him and is somehow still alive here. He cannot figure out the right way to look, and unfortunately, there's no placement right back down to the ground. As Finn takes down Doom, Neptune falls as well. The position that Shock held so tightly is now pushed forward onto Timeless.
Shock should be in a good spot, but unfortunately for them, they lose again both their supports. A big opportunity here for Timeless a second time.
That's just a loss. That is just a loss. Yeah. Timeless lost their players first. Kuffa with a 3K. Can he make it 4? Oh my god! Look at him go! Everything Proper could do, Kuffa can do just as well.
Off the back of a lost fight already, though. So we'll give him credit, but
I counted the same number of players, dude.
Okay, fair enough. But nonetheless, Shock, I mean, obviously their patience was so good there. They're looking to try to expose that Lucio pick and try to counter dive everything that Timeless throws forward. They answer it in return. Unfortunately for them, they were a little bit too patient. They weren't able to take that advantage and do something with it. And unfortunately for them, Timeless just had enough opportunity to find some picks, but not this time.
No, Junbin has the freest primal rage of all time. He's got him stuck in a small hallway and put in the wrong side of a beatdown towards Timeless. How much win in that one? Shock, Cap A.
Took a little time to get there, but here they are. San Francisco Shock. Now, I mean, really just without Junbin's ult here, whereas Timeless, obviously, in order to get into this pretty decent position, had to spend Kuffas, they had to spend Dooms, Cows, so obviously economy certainly favored for Shock, especially as they're postured so far up here. And it's going to take time for Timeless to actually push through and get into a position to fight, and in the process, he's saying, can actually diff by having these long sight lines and finding these kills on the Hanzo.
Is it diff or was he just shooting at a corner? Like sometimes sometimes you're just playing Hanzo.
Pick diff.
Okay,
diff.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got a Cho wrong moment here. Okay. Does this remind you of yesterday? Are you going to make that sound again? Don't do it, man.
If I have to watch an Ana sit on the cart for 2 minutes straight again, I might just. I might just have to suck on the microphone again. We'll see. Kuffa back on point though. Timeless doing everything not to remind me of yesterday. Has all 5 players on point. A sound barrier for the engagement and a Kitsune rush on deck. That's tough. Shock have everything available here.
Posted up on the high ground. This is a great spot for them to fight from. Unfortunately, it cost them the entirety of this second section of the map. They didn't really get to take any of those fights at all. But we do know that Shock like to play these very patiently. So we'll see if they want to instead this time leverage these ultimates and try to do something with them.
Pop's got pressure on Wub. The Suzu's very nice. Neptune though pops the sound barrier maybe a hair early. Following the Suzu. Junbin now looking to pressure players out as the sound barrier wears off. Position still good for Timeless, but they haven't managed to find a player to jump onto yet, to sink their teeth into, Hurix.
Well, they can re-engage quite easily here. I mean, they have the advantage with the Kitsune Rush, so as soon as Finn gets into a good spot, oh, they have to be so careful. Wub is just so well known at this stage for finding these early picks. Do get away from it, but they do still have that Kitsune Rush. I'm surprised they haven't actually found a good time to expend it yet. They're still holding it.
Timeless has been pretty spread out. Oh no, but now they all walk onto one lane. This might be the perfect opportunity to pop that Kitsune Rush. Into the face of a Deadeye, it seems a little more controversial. He gets Finn just following the Suzu. Wub's able to trade himself out. Now Cub's got to find a drop onto the back line. He's looking here for the DPS and the Ana. Vindame under a lot of pressure. Oh, and here comes the Primal. He did it once before. He's got to match Junbin though. He's picked up 2 of his own members of his team. It's a DPS race and the cards moving on in the meantime. Kuffa lies sleeping on the ground, unable to help with what is inevitably a second point cap for the Shock.
I still like what I saw from Timeless there, though. They were more than happy just playing that as patiently as Shock wanted to let them play it. I mean, Shock wasn't really able to press forward, try to, play that aggressive style that we saw a lot from Mayhem, right? I mean, that was the play style that we see Mayhem have that has been so successful with this composition. And instead, you're seeing Shock just kind of biding their time, looking for opportunities, but Timeless is just simply not giving them any.
I mean, biding their time has brought them down to 2 minutes on the last point, so it's not a massive time bank to work with. They do have plenty of ults to work with, and that's what Junbin's banking on. He knows he's got that Primal Rage, he knows he's got a nano boost on the back of it. That's such a scary threat looming over the heads of Timeless, who stare up at it in awe, simply unknowing what to really do about it. Cal forced back. The Suzu's already out. Primal Rage comes through, and it's Neptune who's caught in the sights of Junbin, trying to juggle him off into the pit, but a great poop actually lowers the health bar and takes him down. Fantastic peel by the back line of Timeless. Now they need to strike.
I think that they're going to do that exactly what they've been doing the entire map. Don't even press your luck. Just take this as an opportunity to continue stealing away time. Go forward once you have those assurances, those guarantees that you can get value out of those pushes. Unfortunately there, they do exactly the opposite. And because of that Shock, they do exactly what they've been trying to do all game, which is take those opportunities and expose Timeless for them. You see now the Doomfist coming through. They're trying to find some lethality here late.
Maybe they get it onto Kuffa? I'm not gonna lie, the Doomfist has been subpar. That of what we've seen of it thus far. He's hit about 2 abilities, but that's okay. Junbin does manage to get out at least from the Kitsune rush, so a win all in all for Timeless, or for rather Shock.
1 minute on the clock though, so they're gonna have to transition that into something a little bit more
Oh, Kuffa.
what they got there. But they got the bubble out, almost got the kill onto Kuffa, but that bubble could be huge. Still though, Kuffa has that opportunity to dive forward, go for the reset on the Primal Rage, and he's gonna do exactly that.
And honestly, if nothing else, denies the high ground away from Heesing. Oh, he's got him in a corner. There's nothing you can do. The pulse bomb from Doom connects as well. Kitsune rush late here from Finn is not going to rescue the fight. 30 seconds on, and 1 fight left for the Shock.
Shock are just struggling to find a way in. This is a very tough section of the map. Admittedly, a lot of teams soar through those first 2 sections in this meta and then just hit a brick wall once you see this little S curve right here. Teams just get stuck constantly. We saw it so much throughout the qualifiers. The meta is just, it doesn't bode well for teams trying to attack through this section. We'll see if Shock can break through though. Now that they've made these swaps, they do have that extra little front-loaded pressure. Heesang proper, Sombra, Tracer respectively. They're looking for those opportunities. You can see that, you can hear that target calling, but
I was looking for the door.
them off.
Ooh, the shot almost did. Payload under a lot of pressure, but Shock maybe biding their time. Pulse bomb for proper needs to connect. He's looking at Wub. The Cassidy's down. Now Shock look to move forward. They need to strike now. Kitsune rushes out for Timeless. They can fight this team back.
Oh, Timeless needs to find those kills, and they got Vindime. That is a perfect one to go for, but there's the EMP going the other direction.
He's saying he's charged up an entire EMP? How? Words cannot explain how quickly he's got it going, but it simply doesn't matter. They don't have the numbers, they don't have spawn advantage. That is all in Timeless's favor. A pulse bomb is just going to be the icing on the cake for the hold here that they've managed to construct for themselves. The time bank that they whittled away on A and B pays off.
That right there is just all in tempo. Timeless, I mean, they felt so comfortable with things kind of slowed down, kept it to a pace where they could really kind of control things defensively. Shock with a few opportunities, especially early in the series where we saw them losing a lot of time, not having, you know, plenty to work through that final section, rather, as we have a pause coming in for Timeless. You know, I think that actually, to Timeless's credit, they kind of exposed them for that. They took full advantage of the fact that Shock, they know that Shock plays pretty slow. We saw that throughout this tournament already. It's been something that a lot of people have already kind of talked about, that Shock, they tend to play very patient, and some teams have kind of taken advantage of that.
Yeah, and I mean, another big thing at the end was like Junbin got stuck on that Doomfist for 3 fights, 2 fights at the very least. It was not particularly coordinated, and they tried to swap the Sombra to redeem it, and it didn't quite work. We saw the kill on the Wub go down late, but it felt like kind of just a take-home prize more than anything else at that point, because the dive went in, and it took forever to get that pick, and by then, they'd already put themselves in a position where they don't have any cooldowns. They're 10 meters deep in the opponent's backline, and they've got nothing to defend themselves, so Timeless after that, it's easy stuff cleaning it up.
Yeah, we do have a stat note as well that I think is interesting to kind of bear in mind too. He's saying, you said that was incredibly fast. That was 15 seconds faster. It's about a 60-second EMP charge. 15 seconds faster than the average from last year's season. So obviously incredibly fast. He's saying, I mean, so many people have been talking about him coming into this season. That's a big reason why. Now as we get unpaused here, diving back in, Timeless preparing themselves. They know exactly what they need. The line is on the stand at 59.5. But man, Shock, you're gonna make them work for it. And we've already seen throughout the series how they have made them work for it. Maybe Timeless can get something done here.
They set themselves up to win, but I mean, finishing off a team like the Shock is no easy feat. You take a look at that pulse bomb as well from the end. Junbin playing one of the Doomfists of all time, and just to find the wrong end of it. That's okay, he's got the defense now, and at least he can swap back over to that Winston, but Kuffa bringing the Reinhardt into it could put a wrench in the works, to say the least.
Yeah, I think that's why people have kind of left the Doomfist behind to a degree. It's so hard to get value out of, I mean, so much relies on your team's timing and also just landing every single punch. So difficult. Now Shock, they go back over to that Winston composition, that double flex support setup, Finn, Vindime on that. Timeless, gonna be going back over to the Lucio. which is interesting here because that's something that Shock were looking to try to take advantage of. They just couldn't get that prime opportunity. Now we'll see if Shock can do that. This time on the defense, we'll see if maybe that offers up a little bit of disparity here as they're going to counter dive once again.
The counter dive is mildly successful, but Timeless gained a lot of space with that initial engagement. This is so far going swimmingly for the contender side. And looking to connect an important shot onto a Tracer, but is unable to. The anti-nade also misses Timeless. Pull back, reset the health bars, and look to re-engage.
So Timeless just kind of get pushed back, warded off, as Kuffa is going to look to dive back in. Check to see exactly how they actually counter. And this time, they're going to do something different. Shock actually not following Kuffa. They're looking for that backline and maybe trying to look for someone like Wub, Neptune. Those could both be targets that they could go for outside of Kuffa, who they have been chasing around.
Kuffa is low, though, and Wub is being peeled for by Neptune. It's Kuffa, though, the main tank for Timeless that goes down first. The whole house of cards bound to crumble following that. Timeless need to get back and start recouping.
This right here is just a compositional difference that Shock are just, I mean, they know all too well exactly what advantage they have, and they're just leveraging it constantly with that Ana just being a massive difference that they're taking control with. Obviously, they don't necessarily have to dive on someone like Neptune because you have those boops. Why not just follow Kuffa, who can't, you can't get anything off of you as a Winston. If someone's jumping on you, you just have to take it.
It's a sad life, that's for sure. You've already got a recall out of Doomed as well. Proper can just exist in this backline. Nobody's really looking at him, which I kind of get. Like, how else are you going to deal with this guy? There's no properly dealing with him, pun intended there. Timeless look to dive in, still ignoring the trace that it's dealt hundreds of damage at this point in this fight. He's killed Doom as well. I can't tell if he's got an invisibility cloak on or Timeless are really just trying to, like, stick their heads in the dirt and pretend he doesn't exist, but he's causing a lot of problems.
Well, get the recall out there, so I mean, you know, there's that, but Timeless clearly, like we saw that brick wall hitting in point C for Shock's attack. I mean, it's early on here for Timeless, but one thing that could definitely help them is getting these ultimates up online, looking to try to kite away from Shock's opportunities and pull those ults out earlier. We're looking for those picks. We saw Wub opening fights up for them. They might just need something like that to get in.
I mean, they get a decent trade. Kitsune Rush traded in for the sound barrier of Neptune. Can they find more off the back of it, though? Vindame down, Finn as well. That's it. That's all Timeless needed. One clean engagement buys your way back into the map.
Huge there for Timeless, actually. Unfortunately for them, they're not... Okay, there they go. They're actually on the point, and Junbin actually secured them a kill and gets out. Going to be able to get out to the Mega Pack as well. So this should offer up an opportunity here for Shock to dive back onto the point, contest it, and at bare minimum, steal away some more time.
It's still 2v... Oh, no. Not twice. He can't do it twice. Proper can't do it twice. He's got the opener. He's got a second. Kuffa's down. 30 seconds. Timeless are getting deja vu.
Oh, no. That was the hope. And remember, too...
Oh, who put that graphic up? Don't remind them. Come on.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's messed up. But yeah, loser of this match does get eliminated, so Timeless need to find a way through this Shock defense. Unfortunately for them, Heesang's 15% away from this EMP, and they need to find a kill early here. Junbin could be the one to go.
All right, Proper again pressuring the backline. Kitsune Rush out here for Timeless. They have that advantage at least with Junbin down. They can afford to look at Proper at least a little bit. Vindame pressured out with the pulse bomb. He's saying down. It's just Proper standing, but I literally can't call fights over until that man is dead. Recall forced out. They're halfway there. Finally, he dies. Vindame, I would be even more impressed if he managed to 1v4. So it's not possible. It's not doable. It's 2023. We're past that now. San Francisco Shock have to defend B.
So a lifeline granted to Timeless by themselves. So that, I mean, that works out in their favor, obviously, but still, though, they had to go through so much just to get into this phase of the map here, and that time bank does not look good. They're going to have to take at least 2 fights to get through point B, and Junbin actually has gone back over the Doomfist here.
I thought it was a late swap for them, but I suppose not. Maybe, did he swap to it to maybe stagger out that point at the end? I'm not 100% sure, but they've got the Sombra to go with it as well, and if Heesang's going to charge up another one in 60 seconds, by God, stay on it. Timeless, though, want the engagement because they've got that sound barrier. Kuffa not quite able to go in early, taking a lot of HP damage. Just building up Cal towards the Kitsune Rush. Maybe they want to layer up those support ultimates. It's something we saw a ton in the qualifier. But no, just a sound barrier to answer. Cal's gonna save the Kitsune Rush for a rainy day. Timeless look to use the sound barrier as a trump card, and they do. Vindame down for Doom to trade. They'll take every day of the week, but Proper's still alive. There's a recall forced out. He's got to play more careful now, but Shock do manage to stabilize.
Respect given to Wub there, but they're going to land the stun, and in that timing, they took down Cal, so the sport's gone, and Wub's going to fall as well. But, I mean, Timeless, they still have, I mean, I said 2 fights. They still have to win 2 fights, but hey, they've got 2 fights left potentially, unless, of course, Shock try to go forward and steal some time away from them. Fortunately for Timeless, they are going to be getting back up into position, but they still have to deal with, he's saying, that EMP is coming back up.
I mean, it is a minefield of ultimates they're walking into. They've got to dodge the Pulse Bomb. They've got to dodge the EMP. They've already got themselves an early win here. Heathing's got that EMP. Does he pop it? No. Translocates out. This is Timeless's time to strike. Neptune falls, though. A trade they don't want to see any day of the week. Heathing down, though, means that there's no EMP on the back end of this. Timeless have done it. A deal with death, a bargain with the Grim Reaper. They keep themselves alive yet again.
An explosion of damage there coming out from the subway. Oh man, Timeless once again punch another ticket forward, and now Shock make yet again another swap. This is one that we have seen from Jumpin before. The Diva entering the mix. However, that EMP still available here for the Shock, but it's not the last fight anymore for Timeless. They obviously got to this last section, but they awarded themselves more time in the process. So even if they take an L here, which is possible as they don't have any resources, well, it might not spell defeat for them just yet.
That's tough. He's looking for the perfect EMP. It's taking a lot of time off the clock. It hits all 5 members. Shock have put Timeless in the dirt. They get 1, maybe 2 more chances here.
Yeah, I think the silver lining for Timeless right now is the timing of that fight. I mean, it was so quick that, yeah, they might actually have 2 more shots, and they really need those opportunities because Shock coming up on a few ultimates that are going to make it difficult for Timeless to go, you know, right into this next fight and actually get a win and swing it in their favor unless they get some early picks off of some aggression. So they're going to need to build in this phase if they want any hope of being able to make it through and stay alive in this tournament.
Jerks, I can't take my eyes off these Pulse Bombs. Proper's got one, Doom's got one. They have simply been hitting thus far in the tournament. Pulse Bomb connects for Doom. Proper throws his out in a mirrored form, but nothing's found. No green in the right side of the kill feed. Timeless managed to stay alive. Not Cal, though. He's found on the reverse end. Can we get a remake from Junbin? He does manage to get it off. The contest stays up for Shock. Timeless are coming up on ultimates. They've got the sound barrier to keep this thing going, and they will pop this. Junbin backed into a corner now, but no access to the high ground for Timeless. They've got no damage pressure. It's just stabilization off the back of the Lucio's ultimate. A Deadeye keeps him going, though. Proper down. The problem child ruined. Shock on the ropes. Can Timeless finish it off?
Oh, the sleep dart missed, so Cuff is just going ham in the backline. That's actually solidified an opportunity here for the Timeless. They can actually turn this now that Kitsune rushes down. Can they solidify those kills?
Jumping so low. Shocker trading off pressure on the cart. Everything is caught in the EMP, though, and Heathing just wants to send Timeless home quick and dirty. Overtime burn wicks down, as do the chances of Timeless in the Pro-Am. We've got another team knocked out.
Timeless, unfortunately, the time is up. Not making it through any further. They still have another match that they have, you know, to maybe play spoil to another team. We'll see what happens with that one. But nonetheless, tournament hopes still alive for Shock. They're able to move forward. But what a series that was. I mean, Timeless really, like you said, put them on the ropes.
It was everything. Up until the very last moment, they had all the tools to finish it off. It just came down to mechanics in those final fights, and Heathing building up another massive EMP to clutch things out. I mean, the guy Sombra was doing a lot of work that was just going unseen, and for all the trades we're seeing, all the messy fights, at the end of the fights, it was one of those 2 DPS for the Shock that was staying alive and really clutching out. I mean, you have to look at Proper, who is now looking more in form than he was the prior day, where it certainly wasn't in form, and give him all the credit that he deserves.
Yeah, player of the match. Should be no surprise, especially after that play that helped to turn everything around. You see it here. This time, it's the POV that we were looking for. Just avoiding all of those looks. I mean, like you said, back on King's Row, it felt like he was just cloaked, like nobody could see him. And he was just
they were ignoring him, dude. I think they were just like, we can kill everybody but Proper, and then maybe we'll take down Proper after that. Which is, I can't even
Thinking of
Say that's the bad way to take it. Like, it's proper. What are you going to do? The guy doesn't die. His movement's so good.
Think about the impact on the server you have if that's the kind of outlook that enemy teams have when playing against you. Even pulling that ult away from Wub as well, and then
Oh, the
having
Suzu
to
missed.
stick.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was unfortunately some spaghetti on the floor, but not for Proper. Behind him and his play, as incredible as it was, Shock have look, they've levied the storm a little bit. They're able to move forward. They still have a shot, but man, there are still things left unanswered for sure.
Yeah, this is a team that is not out of the woods, but we talked about it. You never want to be the team that plays Shock the day after a loss. And Timeless was unfortunately just on the wrong end of it. They played almost definitely better than they did yesterday. I have to give them a lot of credit. The improvement was palpable, but they were just having such a rough time against such a good team. They'll get their games, though. They've got more to come in the Pro-Am, as do we, because we're sending it to the desk.
Welcome back, one and all. We're here joined by Danny and Costa, and we unfortunately had to say goodbye to the first contenders team leaving the Pro-Am tournament. Timeless is done. They put up a valiant fight, but unfortunately it was not enough. Or rather, Proper just didn't want to make it happen. Proper was just like, nah.
He's back.
Not today.
Not today. No, yeah, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of losing. I refuse to lose to this another contenders team, and honestly, pulled his team across the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did put in work and then some. So let's take a look at actually some of the Proper action that we got to see there. There he is.
Oh, there he is. We
There
missed
he
you.
is. We did.
This is the 4K that Proper did with his team dead. Max Heesang and Vindame dead. He takes down Neptune, then gets doomed, cleans up the Cassidy as well, just out of nowhere, and then takes the 1v1 with an Ana, just able to live through it, takes down the Ana, and then Kuffer just doesn't have enough health, can't get back to the point. The team Resurgence comes back because they'll die so early after killing the whole team, and they go on to win this map. If they lost this map, anything could happen in this series.
But I mean, Proper, like you said, he said, no, I'm not going to go down here. And he single-handedly carried this fight. And they were, if you're looking at it, they were 0-99. And then after Proper won that fight, that's when they started to, you know, go be on a roll.
I do want to jump in before we just hype Proper up for the entire time like we usually do. I do want to give a special shout out to Heesang, especially on that Sombra. Looked very, very solid on that King's Row. Was one of the big proponents. Like his EMPs were enormous, but I still have questions about Junbin. He doesn't seem to want to play that Winston. Didn't like much what I saw of the Doomfist. So a lot of questions still going around the Shockers. This match was quite close. Timeless pushed them right to the edge. And a special shout out to my Australian brethren as well. Kuffer played a great game on that Winston. Honestly, against the elite backline of the San Francisco Shock, he did a lot of work and was honestly probably the best tank in the server in this series.
Timeless for sure put up a really, really good fight. So, you know, send them some love on the socials. We had a real blast watching them play in the Pro-Am. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye early. But let's take a look at our winners. Finn is standing by with an interview with Danny.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Finn, can you hear me? Finn 선수 들리시나요? 인사 한번 해주세요.
네. 반갑습니다.
All right, Finn just says hello. It's good to see you back, Finn. And
Hello.
of course, congratulations on getting this win. Now, I do have to start off this interview by asking you this question because, you know, it seems like San Francisco Shock right now is struggling. Of course, you guys did get the win, but it does seem like, you know, it's a different sort of San Francisco Shock from what I was used to watching. And you guys, of course, are sort of struggling. So I want to ask you, what are some of the difficulties that the San Francisco Shock is facing in the Pro-Ams currently? 첫 번째 질문은 어떻게 보면 좀 아픈 질문이긴 하지만 솔직히 말하면 어떻게 보면 센쇼기 지금 프로그램 토너먼트에서 좀 이렇게 힘들어하는 모습이 보이는 것 같아요. 그래서 핀 선수한테 좀 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 좀 어떤 어려움이 지금 현 상황에 센쇼기에 좀 있는 것 같으신가요?
일단은 지금 저희가 합숙 생활을 안 하고 있거든요. 그리고 솔직히 핑 문제가 이제 없다고는 거짓말 못 하는데 이제 핑도 좀 높고 그리고 아직 팀합을 맞춰가는 상태이기 때문에 이거는 시간이 해결해 줄 것 같습니다.
Alright, I think some of the notable things are, of course, currently we're not living everyone together, and also, of course, I do have to bring up the fact that we are playing on high ping as well. So, of course, because we're not living together right now, we're not in the same team house. It's really sort of hard to build that team synergy, and you know, we're sort of trying our best to build our synergy as we go along, and this is sort of our start of the season as well. So I do believe we will definitely get better with time, and I do also believe that as well. As we're seeing, you guys did get the win today against Timeless, and I do see the improvements in the team synergy. So my next question for you, Finn, is you know, what can we expect from the San Francisco Shock in the Pro-Am tournaments moving forward? 자, 방금 말하셨다시피 어떻게 보면 이제 팀워크나 좀 이런 면들이 제가 봤을 때도 좀 이렇게 좀 나아지는 것 같습니다. 어떻게 보면 이제 핀 선수가 보셨을 때는 그럼 이제 남은 프로엠 토너먼트 저희 또 센쇼의 팬들 또 이제 많은 분들이 센쇼를 보면서 좀 어떤 모습을 기대하면 될까요?
일단은 지금은 솔직히 저희가 막 그렇게 막 잘한다고는 이제 할 수 없어가지고 지금 초반에는 성적이 좀 안 좋을 수도 있는데 무조건 일단 한 6월 이후로는 진짜로 엄청 세진 이제 샌프란시스코 쇼크를 볼 수 있게 될 겁니다, 여러분.
5월, 6월이라고 하면은 이제 저희 정규 시즌에 들어가게 되면
네. 그때쯤.
알겠습니다. Alright, so currently right now, I can't say that we are the best. We don't really have the best looks as the San Francisco Shock. So we could be at times, struggle during the Pro-Am tournament. But I will make sure, I could say this right now, when the regular season comes in during April or May or June, during that time, I do feel like we're going to get back into shape, the shape that everyone knows and love. All right, Finn, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time. And again, big congratulations on the win. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치도록 하겠습니다. 핀 선수, 감사드립니다.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Finn. It's great to hear from Finn from the San Francisco Shock. Congratulations to him and the team. Finn and Proper, of course, the two veteran guys on that team this very season after having their rookie season last season. Just to say season 3 times now. Actually, we have a tweet for you as well coming out from the San Francisco Shock about the 180 ping Warriors. That's right, aren't out of the fight yet. And Proper had some fighting words there. Going to go back to being that guy, since they all seem to have forgotten. Proper, we haven't forgotten.
Well, others have forgotten.
Yeah.
We never forget. Others might forget. Other people like to call it excuses, but Proper still proving he is that guy. And that was a great interview, Danny. It was awesome hearing from Finn. You know, obviously, he's going to cite ping as an issue. It is an issue, but one that he really highlighted was they have 4 rookie players on their team. They aren't in person. It is very difficult to sort of build that bond as players and a team, even though they have previous history. So maybe once they start playing together as well, they get in the same region and location, they'll be able to start improving in that way as well.
Yeah, it really makes a world of difference in a game such as Overwatch. Now, let's take a look at today's schedule to see where we are at, as we're almost through with all the matches on day number 3, not 2. We're gonna see the Saints going up against Spitfire in our last match of the day. Spitfire, I mean, the first match they played today against the Vegas Eternal, that was a scrappy affair. We talked to Sparker right after that, and he didn't promise that it's going to be less scrappy. He didn't go that far, but he said he will try. Well, let's see if the Saints will allow for them to play it a little bit more smooth. What do we want to see from the Saints?
I just want to see them keep playing their style. I think they have like a very, not unique, but just like normal style that they can play around. They can pull false in to play that Ramatra ball if they want, but they're happy to play the Winston and the Wrecking Ball. Just keep leaning into that and keep playing. If London Spitfire play anywhere close to how they played against the Vegas Eternal, then they should have this one in the bag. Ping has been going absolutely crazy on that Tracer, and if Tree can start having better games in this Pro-Am, I think the Saints are going to be a hard team to deal with.
I also agree. I think this is going to be a close fight. But remember, when we were talking with Sparker, he did say that when Vegas was playing that sort of unconventional composition, that sort of threw them off guard. So I think if Saints don't really have that sort of weird comp, then I think London would be put in a good position.
Yeah.
We did see London try out a few new things, adding some other pieces, some of their new pickups to their lineup. Didn't work. They switched off very quickly after that. Do you want to see them experimenting more with their roster, Costa?
At the end of the day, it is the Pro-Am, right? These guys, the most important thing is getting these players comfortable on stage. This is kind of a preseason for a lot of these Overwatch League teams. Give your players some reps. Even though it didn't look great, that's great. Get that first match jitters out of the way. Give them more reps. I would love to see them again.
And you know what else I want to see? Support bundles being on sale, as you can see on your screen right now. London Spitfire, if you want to rep their support bundles, getting the Kiriko, Ana, and Baptiste skin, as well as a fancy schmancy weapon charm, then you can do that now for just 350 league tokens. That's right. Now we are getting ready for this last match of the day, but first things first, we want to take a look at the predictions for this one. Saints, once again, a reminder, they are the #1 NA qualifying team from the contender scene. But is that enough for us to put all our eggs in the Saints basket? Did we buy into the hype? They're currently 1-1, so it's not bad. It's not the greatest. Could be better.
All right, sorry. So what is it?
Sorry, what are you doing?
Sorry, what is it?
I'm buying time because I couldn't remember which one I picked.
I was doing the same. I was like, I'm looking forward to see what Zoe did.
London, of course. Today my brain is mush. I am terribly sorry, but yeah, London. That's my pick for this game. Honestly, I feel good about this one, though. I do think that unless London Spitfire once more let the opposition drag them into some weird Chengdu zone, they should be fine. They have the right pieces. Yeah. They have been playing together for quite some time. You know, they have the synergy. They have the understanding, and clearly the capabilities to play the current meta at a high level. I think they've looked good on their Rhine Brawl. There is no reason to not go for the London Spitfire.
I also went with London, but I'm not too confident in my pick. I'm sort of worried about the King Tree duo. It was hard. I just went with London because I think it was a safer pick.
I submitted my picks at the beginning of the day when I was extremely confident in the London Spitfire. I am no longer extremely confident, but I am still confident that, as you guys said, if they can play their style, if Saints don't throw curveballs at them, London should feel a lot more comfortable and be able to get